everybody, welcome back. It's Hutch from HutchHiPerf, and I hope everyone had a very happy Thanksgiving. I know I did. All the family was here. Got to have grandbabies on my knee. It was a really good time. Anyway, I hope everyone had just as much fun as I did. So the downside of that is hadn't been a whole lot of working on car time, but I did do a couple little things. I got my intake manifold back, which I was really happy about. So I want to get this engine sealed up because I can't do any grinding or cutting or welding or anything inside the garage while the engine's open. I mean, if you've ever cut something up, no matter where you do it, you find that stuff just laying on everything, like a little bit of debris. I can't do any of that while the engine's open. I don't want anything getting inside. So until it gets sealed up, I have to run out to the shed to cut everything out there. It's a hassle. Anyway, so glad I got the intake back so I can get that on. I could throw a set of valve covers on and just kind of temporarily seal it up so it's kind of a little bit more safe for me, and that's what I'm looking for. So in the comments, Kernsky, you asked about the belt part number. At the time you posted that, I didn't know what it was. So I measured the belt since then, and I've actually ordered the belt. It's sitting on the engine, so it fits. So I will show you that real quick. But let me show you how I measured the belt, because there's a certain way you measure serpentine belts. So this is the junk belt that came off of the S10, was it 93 S10 Blazer? So this is the donor belt, and all I did was I just cut it off with a pair of side cutters, and I used a pair of vice grips, and I just put it back together until I had the length I want. And like I said in the last video, first time I got it on, it was perfect. So I was very excited. So I got it on. So if you want to measure this, you have to measure, and I used, don't tell my wife, I used a measuring tape. It was like a vinyl measuring tape you use for sewing. And we keep it in a junk drawer in the house, but you have to measure the outside length of the belt. That's how you get the exact, that's how the belt is measured, I guess the way the factory does it. And using that vinyl like sewer's tape measure, it's much more flexible, and I was able to just kind of like ride it right around. And then when I got to the end, because I think it was like 60 inches, so when I got to the end I could hold that spot and then double it back, and then I could measure the rest, and it came out to 93 inches and like what, 7/8. It was like 93.875, something like that was the actual measurement of the belt. So I went online, and it took a little bit because you look through, I think one manufacturer you kind of search by length. I can't remember. It was a little difficult. But what I did do was I looked up, I wanted to see what the original length of the S10 belt was. So I just went to like, I don't know, one of your big box auto places, AutoZone, whatever you want to call it. And I looked for 93 S10 Blazer Serpentine belt. And there's two different belts. One belt is for AC. And did you know this? You could get a 93 S10 Blazer without AC. There's an AC delete. What? In 93, I didn't think you could even order a car without AC, but you could. And let's get over to the engine. I'll show you what I'm talking about. So for an AC delete with this whole compressor off, there is, it's like it's a pulley, and there's a bracket that goes across, that bolts into the two spots, and basically takes up the place of what the compressor is. And there's actually like an idler pulley, but there's a big pulley that's on it that takes the place of the compressor. Well, apparently it's smaller than this compressor, because the AC compressor cars, the belt was like 95 something inches long, and the one without AC was 938. It was 93.8 inches. That was the actual belt length, which is exactly what I needed. So if you do this, just get an S10 Blazer belt. You can use 93. It's probably the easiest way. This is the one I looked for. 93 S10 Blazer AC delete belt, and it's going to be the exact length. And as you can see, my arrow is right at the center point where it's supposed to be. There it is, AC Delco. 6K, 6 is for 6 rib belt. 6K 938. So there you go, Kernsky. If you're doing this, this is the belt you will get. Now, that is the belt that measured out perfect for my setup the way I have it. It should be pretty much the same. If you're buying the kit and you're using the same type of accessory brackets, everything should go on pretty much the same. But you still want to measure, you want to have a test belt, and you still want to measure just to make sure. So AC Delco has the 93.8 length belt. I think Continental and a couple others, it was actually 94. So it was 940 is what was the last three for the part number. Is that little bit going to mess things up? Probably not. So either one of those is probably fine. But there you go. There's the answer to that. So now I've got my belt. It's time to take everything apart. So all the accessories come off, brackets come off, and then I keep saying that I can't do this until it goes in the car. I can't do this till it goes in the car. So I think it's time to just prime the engine, put the intake on, put it in the car. So I think coming up, you're going to see the engine and trans installation video. Oh, another thing while I'm here running my mouth. The power steering pulley. So apparently, what I understand, there's some talk online about the pulley size. And I think there's more than one size pulley. I'm not sure on that. If I have the wrong pulley, then all this is wrong. So, so the belt's the wrong length, everything. But there's something to do with the pulley, and there's like two different sizes, and the bigger one actually interferes with the Saginaw 800. And I hope that I have the right one, because if I have to replace this and get a smaller one, first I got to find the part number and the size, and I got to pay for it, and then this belt is wrong, and I've just wasted money. The joys of aftermarket, right? Anyway, one last thing. Like I said, I got the intake back. I want you to look at this. So apparently when they cast these intakes, and this is an old design like I've said, there was a low rise and there was a high rise intake. You can see this parting line right here. So I don't know if it was in the way it's cast, if there was two different casting molds and one was just, it almost looks like there's an aluminum spacer and they just welded it onto the top of the intake manifold. Either that, but it looks like it might be a casting mark. So they may have had one main mold for the low rise, and then there was this addition that was put in or cast in or whatever that raised it up to the high rise, and then that line is your casting line that is in between the low rise and the high rise. I don't know, but it looks ugly. I don't like it. It's just messy. So I've been thinking of ways, because I don't want to, first, I don't want to smooth the entire intake. I like the kind of the semi-roughed cast of the intake, and I want to keep that. And I'm painting it anyway, but I want to sand this down, but I also don't want to make it look so obvious, like it's, you know, rough cast and then it's just completely smooth right here. So I've got to think of a way to get this ground down and then either come back and blast it or use something to get this out so it kind of like blends in with the rest of the cast, the aluminum. I'll have to figure that out. There'll be a video coming on that because I have an idea of what I may be doing, but we'll see. Anyway, if you've not subscribed, now's the time to do it, because I'm getting ready to put this bad boy back in the car. So you'll get to see me putting I got to put the back flex plate on. I got to test fit the little mini torque starter, and then the torque converter for the transmission back there, and then get that bolted up, and then the whole thing has to swing in. Then there's the double hump cross member I got to put in. There's a lot of work. There's a lot of work. So you got to subscribe. You don't want to miss it. Well, that's pretty much it. Not a lot of time to do anything else. Still got some family here, so I'm enjoying my grandpa time. So that comes first. Anyway, look forward to seeing some more stuff very soon. Like I said, I got to get this engine in the car. I got to check the valve covers. There's a bunch of stuff that needs to get done. I'm going to do it. Just I need a little time. So this is Hutch from HutchHiPerf. Enjoy your family while you got them around you. Have a good one.